First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zheng Kong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Tupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to Guhyasamaja Buddha. Simu, Tuten Siddhi Rinpoche, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, all fellow disciples here and over the internet. And our participating VIPs today are the Vice Mayor of Nanchou County, Mr. Chen, and legislator Ms. Ma, and the former county consultant Mr. Jian, and Civil Bureau Director Ms. Su, and the Religion Bureau Mr. Zhang, the representative of Taotung Town, Mr. Liu, candidate of DPP, Mr. Liu, candidate of Taotung Town, Mr. Zhou, and the neighboring leader of Taotung, Mr. Chen. Taipei Mission in Sweden, Norway, Ambassador Daniel Liao, and Madame Dharma Sister Judy, and welcome Ambassador Daniel Liao to come back to Taiwan, and Chief Test Secretary of Taiwan Government, Mr. Zheng, and Mr. Zheng. From academia, Seneca, Professor Zhu and Mrs. Zhu. Asian College of Knowledge Management, Mr. Lee and Mrs. Lee. From Indonesia, Congressman Mr. Huang. And the former Congressman, now the Vice Minister of Finance, Mr. Ye and Mrs. Ye. Zhongshan Affiliated Hospital, the Director of Plastic Surgery, Dr. Zheng. From the Chinese University of Hong Kong, Professor Tan. True Buddha School, the professor member and other medical groups. The True Buddha Foundation, a law consultant, Lower Zhou Huifang, Luo Riliang, and Huang Yueqing. From Brazil, University St. Paul, the College of Liberal Arts, Dr. Chen and Mrs. Chen, a medical doctor. From Brazil, Lotus Light Language Center, Confucius Classroom, the principal, Dr. Qi, and the vice principal, Miss Liang. From Atlanta, the USA, Dr. Zhou Heng, and Dr. Lin. And from Canada, Dr. Zhen Olivia and her husband. From Sweden, Xiu De Tang, Chinese doctor Miss Luo. From Dadeng, Indonesia, the chairman, Mr. Zheng, and Mrs. Zheng. Malaysia, Mr. Lei, Feng Yi, Madam, and the daughter Lei Qian. Malaysia, Mr. Li Haian, Madam, and the daughter Li Qi, Li Xueyan, Li Xueli. Malaysia, Mr. Li Mingguang, and Madam Miss Chen. The chief of seminar on Malaysia's Buddhist civilization, Shi Zhaoshan.
California States, for 什么个
From United Arab Emirates, Greenfield from the royal family, the CEO Miss Ling, and General Advisor Mr. Chen. From Guam, the Grand Plaza, the chairman, Mr. Chen and Mr. and Mrs. Chen. From Taiwan, the famous entertaining artist Mr. Tai. The wood sculptor Mr. Jian.
My university same classmate 朱金水先生夫人陈哲霞女士。华光功德会总会长
From Lawless Light Charity Society and the producer of Great Perfection, Havaja Mr. Lian Yue. Host of Lumday Sutra Perfect, Mr. Lian Hai, Mr. Lian He, and Mr. Lian Jia. From CDI TV, the producer of Illuminating Your Heart, Rebecca Shi.
My sister 卢胜梅女士。感谢赞助。
And we appreciate the donation to support the meal from Yanshan Leizang Temple. That's 220,000. And from Indonesia, Lian Yong, Raja teacher. 100,000, and from Indonesia, Dharma brother Fang, $100,000, and from Indonesia, Dharma sister Zhang Weiling, $100,000.
Australia, Sydney, 包雷何家打斋10万元。
Bao Lei's family, $100,000. From China, the disciples from the group do one good deeds every day, $100,000. Dharma sister Ye Jingli, donate $100,000. And Dharma Sister Chen Xiufeng donate $100,000. And Dharma Brother Fu Xianglin donated $100,000. We also appreciate the Mayor of Changhua City, Mr. Cho, and from all walks, your bouquets. Thank you.
Everybody, how do you do? Good afternoon, everybody. How do you do? Greetings in all different languages.
Sawadika, Kamsamida. Good afternoon. Domo konnichiwa. Sauji. Hola, amigo. Que quiero mucho. Mex and Doiji. 那么我们刚刚做的是密集金刚。
Just now, we perform the Homa of Guhyasamaja Buddha.
还没有开始讲以前，我要跟大家谈一下。
Before I give this Dharma teaching, I would like to say that tomorrow at the Linko Stadium, there is the Nagarjuna transmission, the newest and latest. Nagarjuna is most famous for Madhyamaka. And Nagarjuna actually already also studied Yogacara, but his Madhyamaka was most famous. In India, at the end, what's left are the Yogacara sect and Madhyamaka school or sect. And Nagarjuna is the founder of Madhyamaka school. And he's also a patriarch of the 8 schools of Buddhism. So tomorrow I welcome all of you to go to the Linko Stadium. Linko Stadium. And also remember the Yellow Emperor Temple. There will be a ceremony of the Golden Face Golden Mother, which is very rare. Please note the dates. And in the southern Taiwan, organized by the Ta-I Lechang Temple in Kaohsiung, there will be a ceremony, an upcoming ceremony in April. Please remember the dates. And another announcement is about the TB the trove of wisdom, of divine wisdom. I hope that everybody can join and become a club member. That's the e-version of Grandmaster's books, and you can find all information there. And it's free. to become a member. But the establishment, the administration, and the management of this treasure also need, of course, need some funds. So any donations are welcome. And the 4 recent books about ghosts, book number 258 to 62 and 270, all 4 books about ghosts. And each one of you should have these books. Then it'll be very easy to discern and to differentiate between Buddhas and ghosts. So from these 4 books, then you would be able to gain knowledge. Talking about the ghost, and remember one thing. Prior to the Ushina Vijaya Temple in Northern California, establishment, before he built the Ushina Vijaya Temple, X went there and said, there are ghosts inside it. You cannot set up a temple here because there are ghosts inside it. So they have to ask Grandmaster to go to that building spot of Ushina Vijaya in Northern California. And I went there to become the Ghostbuster for everybody to see, so that the Ushina Vijaya Temple can be built. So I personally invited Yamantaka to descend upon the site of Ushina Vijaya Temple. And like an exorcist, I went around and eventually I exorcised all the ghosts. And then the Ushina Vijaya Temple was completed. So where did the ghosts come from? They were XX ghosts. So she sent the ghosts there, and I was the one that caught them. So that's how the Ushina Vijaya Temple was built. So think about it psychologically, why she didn't want to have the Ushina Vijaya Temple built there, because she wanted to monopolize the whole Northern California. It's a very simple scheme that can be seen even by kids, even if you think with your knees. But good thing that the old Lu, is master at exorcising ghosts, at catching the ghosts. So let me ask Master Lien Sung, did they set up the ghost tablets at the Ushina Vijaya Temple? Yes. How many? 3 tablets. Now you took them down. Yes, then that's fine. No more problems. And I also remember Is Master Lian Qi here
Australia
from Australia? Master Lian Qi from Australia. You were at the Mi-yi Lezang Temple in Houston, right? Yes. So the Mi-yi Temple of Houston invited you to teach Buddha Dharma. And how long did you stay there? 1 to 2 months. And I heard that she did really well, and the fellow disciples there really welcomed her. And you know what X said? She said that Master Lian Qi had tuberculosis, had TB, that it is infectious. And you went to the hospital to check, and you didn't have any TB, tuberculosis. How could she claim that a master that was quite popular at that temple, and she claimed that she had tuberculosis? So this thing, it's very simple, right? You can understand what kind of psychology this is, what kind of mindset she had. So she kicked out a good master and spread the rumor that she had a tuberculosis that's infectious. Actually, she didn't have it. She plays piano really well, and she taught disciples piano and music, and she's very amiable. And claimed that she had infectious disease. When she heard that, she went to the hospital to check, and actually she didn't have it. And she said there are ghosts at the Ujjayi temple, and Master Lian Qi had infectious disease, and there's many, many more. I really want to write the 5th book about X. You know, the materials I have is like this table here, from here to there. And a disciple from Indonesia went for consultation, and he said that at my home I had this barn filled with grains, and there are many swallows that's eating the rice or the grains. And what happened? Asking her, and X replied that all the swallows were your ancestors that became swallows, and they came back to eat the rice or the grains inside your barn. So you have to become the sole contributor for her ceremonies many times. And when Dharma Sister Rebecca heard that, I lived at the high floor, and there were many pigeons that would come to the balconies, and they would make sound cook, cook. So many pigeons would fly over at the balcony, and then she asked X, why did the pigeons come to my home? And X replied, "Oh, those were your ancestors coming back asking for food from you. So you have to do Homa and you have to perform some good deeds and merits." And actually, the replies are similar. They are your ancestors. You know, I'm really scared now because I live in America at the Ganshai Ridge, and in my basement there were about 20 to 30 mice. And I invited the mice buster, the pest control. To come and to capture all the mice. And over 20 mice. Jeez, what should we do? So they were also my ancestors. Oh my God. But I already asked the pest control to catch all the mice. So I have harmed my own ancestors, so I have to ask XX to do ceremonies for me. And then I asked all my neighbors, and even on top of the hill, and they said they had even more, 60 to 70 mice. And next door, over a dozen, and then the other neighbor, and the whole community there, the whole area had mice in their houses. So does it mean that all of our ancestors have become mice? Right? Not right, of course. Not. So that's really horrible things. So I will write it in my books in the future. Really, Amitabha. Okay, let's not continue. Otherwise, we have not enough time. Guhyasamaja, Tantra. Someone asked, so I wrote an article about it. So, Grandmaster Lu, you have transmitted Hevajra, Yamantaka, Mahotara, and especially Hevajra and Kalachakra. You expounded it in great details. So now what's left is Guhyasamaja and Chakrasamvara. And I did transmit Chakrasamvara last year. So actually the Heruka tantric practices are very difficult to practice, not very easy. In the past, in America, I wrote to one of my masters, "Oh Guru, please transmit the Tantra of the 5 Herukas." And my Guru told me, "Have you completed your preliminary practices?" What are they? The preliminary practices include great prostrations, great offerings. How many times have you done them? The fourfold refuge mantra, how many have you chanted? Generation Bodhicitta and the 100-syllable mantra, how many recitations have you done? Have you gained spiritual union with your root guru, with your yidam? Once you gain spiritual union with your yidam, then you can study the Heruka practices. But now, True Buddha School have so many talents and gifted people. the grand true Buddha's disciples. All that's left is Guhyasamaja, and now it will be transmitted too. It's extremely difficult to practice Heruka practices. I had asked so many gurus, and eventually there was a guru that gave me the tantric practice procedures of all 5 Herukas. So, at the beginning of the deity yoga includes the fourfold refuge, the 4 immeasurables, the bodhicitta generation, and purification and visualization, and also great prostration, offerings, armor protection, and repentance. And at the Guhyasamaja main practice, how do you visualize? Just now, on the screen, that's what's broadcast on the screen earlier is the altar of Guhyasamaja. The burning mountains and hills in a square around it. At the center, there is the Vajra wall, which is the palace, Vajra foundation, and above the palace, there's the Vajra net. And inside it, at the center, there is a lotus, and on top of the lotus, a home syllable, sun disk, moon disk, home, that transformed to become Guhyasamaja. It's very easy to visualize. First, you visualize Guhyasamaja mandala or altar. Start from the burning fire on all sides, and there are mountainous hills. Our altar is always, the heaven is round, the earth is square. So the center inside is always round, and outside is always square. First, you visualize the Vajra fire, and then you visualize the palace which is round inside. And at the center of the palace, there is a precious throne. On top of it, there is a lotus blossom, and inside it, the home syllable. And from home, Guhyasamaja appears in dual body. And the consort of Guhyasamaja is Sparta Vajra. So first you visualize the void, and from home there is appearing the Vajra foundation, walls, and the palace surrounded by burning mountains. And at the center of the palace there's home, and then lotus, and at the lotus there's a sun disk, and then a cross Vajra scepter that revolves to become Guhyasamaja. How do you visualize Guhyasamaja? He has blue body, 3 faces, 6 arms, and the faces are black, white, and red. And the first 2 arms are embracing the consort and holding the scepter and the bell. And then on the right, the hands are holding the Dharma wheel, lotus, and on the left they're holding the money jewel and the sword. And with the wrathful or the blissful, or combination of both. So this is hard. You have to be wrathful and blissful. That's really hard. I've said it before. The smile of Mona Lisa was painted by Da Vinci. The paintings of Da Vinci, Mona Lisa. It's like this. The slight smile of Mona Lisa was like she was waiting for her husband at the door. She was angry, but she tried to smile. Welcome back. It's a very difficult kind of smile. So the crown ornament of Guhyasamaja is Akshobha Buddha. Talking about Akshobha Buddha, let me tell you, Indonesia, in Yogyakarta, Indonesia, Jogja, Borobudur, near Yogyakarta, that's a huge mandala. If you've been there, please raise your hand. The anthropologist said that should have been the mandala of Guhyasamaja. You know, at the center was Akshobha Buddha, Akshobha Tathagata. I don't know what happened. They changed it to Vairocana, so now it became the mandala of the five Dhyani Buddhas. It was the mandala of Guhyasamaja, and then they exchanged Akshobha with Vairocana, so now it's the mandala of the five Dhyani Buddhas. But the Indonesian anthropologist told me that that was the mandala of Guhyasamaja, and they asked me so many questions, and I replied to their complete satisfaction. Because at the peak of the mandala, at the highest point, there were carvings. Oh, they were missing. And they asked Grandmaster, what should we do? I told them that all stupas or pagodas, there's some that represent the universe, which is 3 circles. The biggest circle and the smaller circle and then the smaller circle. So you can place those. Those represent the universe. Or the kind that represent sun and moon of the world. So sun and underneath a moon. So round, sun, and then the moon. And when I answered this, they were very satisfied, and they would follow Grandmaster Lu's recommendation. So the world is symbolized by the sun and moon, and the universe is symbolized by 3 circles. So if you research on the tantric mandalas, you would know. At the development stages of Tantrayana, it talks about the mandala or in the beginning. So you visualize Guhyasamaja and the mantra. You can add ah to the mantra. Or without ah, it's okay. Either of these 2 mantras are okay. And the mudra. Interlace inward and then the index fingers upright. there are two kinds of mudra. So interlace the fingers inward and then straighten the index fingers and then touching at the tip. And even the thumbs are interlaced inward. They are fine. So either of the two mantras, it's okay too. So with mantra, mudra, and visualization, so that would comprise the Guhyasamaja deity yoga practice. And when Simu was reciting the praise, the wrathful deity in blue body, with Akshoba Buddha as his crown ornament, fixing gaze at sentient beings until fruition, I pay homage to Guhyasamaja. So this praise can be used as your supplication verse. So for any karma yoga for purification, enrichments, magnetization, and subjugation. And Guhyasamaja can also break greed and anger, animosity. So what does Guhyasamaja mean? It's the secret assembly, Heruka, which is the assembly of the secrets of the body, speech, and mind of the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. So it can be called Guhyasamaja, or in Chinese, Miji Heruka or Jimi Heruka. There were two people who seek for Guhyasamaja Tantra and brought back to Tibet. The first one was Drogmi Lotsawa. So in India, at the East Gate tribe, he studied the Guhyasamaja of the Akshoba Buddha. So he's the Sakyayese or Drogmi Lotsawa and brought it back to Tibet. And then later on, Marba from the Kagyupa also went to Tibet. And to India, he went to Naroba and studied Guhyasamaja of the of the Kagyupa. So Marba also studied Guhyasamaja and brought it back to Tibet. And he also learned it from the Chaoji temple in India. So Guhyasamaja is the foundation of all Tantra practices. And the accompanying Heruka of Tsongkhapa was Guhyasamaja. So Tsongkhapa wrote 12 treatises, and 5 of them were all about Guhyasamaja. So Tsongkhapa also practiced Guhyasamaja, and Tsongkhapa was the founder of Gelugpa. So he praised Guhyasamaja. And the Longman Bodhisattva also said, and also Aryadeva wrote about Guhyasamaja. And Tsongkhapa, in his 12 treatises, there were 5 stages that were all about Guhyasamaja. Once you gain spiritual union with Guhyasamaja, then you will be free from the 3 lower rounds. That you would definitely be in the Buddha lands, because there are 3 virtues, merits. 1, you would gain the merit of liberation. Once you gain spiritual union with Guhyasamaja, you will be liberated. And second, that you would gain body, which means you have fruition. So you attained fruition, the fruit of bodhi, and also the fruit of liberation. There are 2 kinds of liberations. One is the liberation path, and the other one is the body path. And you would be able to attain both of them just by practicing Guhyasamaja. That you would be able to gain these 3. So let me tell you, by practicing this, that you would be far from all problems. Nothing is bothering you. There are so many problems these days. Lots of people think I have lots of problems that I have not resolved. But once you have attainments in this Dharma practice, that nothing will touch you, that you're a totally problem-free person. Actually, Grandmaster Lu, I often say that I am a cultivator with nothing on my mind. I have no problems. Even if a problem is occurring on me, I'm still problem-free. Very simple. In this world, so which country's presidents are most unlucky? It's from Korea. Presidents of Korea. You know? So presidents committing suicide, presidents being imprisoned, presidents being murdered. So each of the presidents of Korea always ended in a bad situation. See how many presidents that have to pay back for like billions or millions. Presidents of Korea. Now just give me a few examples, Simu. Of a total of 7 or 8 presidents of Korea that were either murdered, imprisoned, or committed suicide. About 7 or 8 of them. So why do you want to be a president? Isn't that good, just to be a common person? But that's human nature. In Grandmaster's view, in the future, if I have a chance to be in jail Like say, if I'm being imprisoned, would that be a problem? Of course not. Outside the prison, I'm cultivating spiritually, but being inside the jail, I'm also cultivating personal spiritually. So I still cultivate spiritually, and the rest are no problems. In this world, you want to live in this natural state, that you're as constant as the sun and the moon and the universe, as the heaven and the earth. You're as constant as the consciousness of the universe. For you, that you're already in union, you're merging with the consciousness of the universe, that nothing is a problem. Only then you would be this cultivator with nothing bothering you. So Akshobhya Buddha said that there is no rising, non-arising. There is no living Buddha Lian Song. What is Sung Yen Lu? The one seated here is called Sung Yen Lu, living Buddha Lian Song. No, because I still have a baby picture when I was born. That was also Sung Yen Lu, living Buddha Lian Song. And also look at the photo when I was in junior high school. That was also living Buddha Lian Song, Sung Yen Lu, and also the photo of the high school or college, or my graduation picture. That was also Sung Yen Lu, living Buddha Lian Song, and also the one seated here too. And a few years later, when I'm gone, you want to comprehend this. The past is gone, and the present will become the past. And the future? And the future is gone, can be gone too. So that's the concept of non-arising. And in the Diamond Sutra, it was written that the mind of the past is unattainable, the mind of the present is unattainable, and the mind of the future is unattainable. So what kind of mind do you gain? And you would say that the ungainable mind. So if you could truly be like that, then that would be called the non-arising or no birth. And Guhyasamaja can bring you there. And the state or the realm of non-arising is the same as enlightenment. So I'd like to ask X. So that's the realm of existence. Hey, you have to sell your house and then give the money to me. And everyone did that and gave the money to her. Has anybody bought, sold their houses and then give it to Grandmaster? No, no one. No one. The names of the presidents of Korea. Pu Zhenxi was murdered. Qian Douhuan was judged life, execution, and being fined 6 billion. Lu Zhenyi had to pay 7.2 billion in fine, and Jin Yongsan. Oh, it's gone, disappeared from the screen. And Jin Yongsan, the son, evaded her tax. And then Jin Dazhong also bribery, and Lu Wuxian. And this is the one that killed himself, jumped off the cliff. And Li Mingbo was being executed. Pu Jinhui imprisoned. So, if you are greedy for status and positions and greedy for money, you're very scary, then you would fall into such disgrace. It's better if you have no birth and no death, or if you are problem-free. Bao Sengfo said, including the Buddha Dharma, once you are enlightened to the Buddha Dharma, then you can let go of the Buddha Dharma. Once you're merging with the utmost, then you're infinite and eternal. And by practicing Guhyasamaja, that's what you can gain. And Amitabha said, that's the Dharma of all non-arising and also no practice. That's the yoga of the space, of the sky. And the yoga practice starting from the yoga of concentration. And then when you reach the space, then that would be the yoga of renunciation. And then the yoga of one taste, which means you're in union with the space, you become one taste. That's called the yoga of one taste, the yoga of concentration, the yoga of renunciation, the yoga of one taste, and finally the yoga of no practice. You have reached one taste, so there's no need to practice. That you're the same as the utmost, and you're eternal, and your power is boundless. A true guru can bring you to the topmost, utmost yidam. That's boundless. That's why only that is called infinite and eternal, because it's non-arising. And you have to break through. Break through what? Break through everything in the materialistic world, that everything is temporary. That's just the huge dream of thousands of years. China has 5,000 years of history. All the dynasties of China. Those were all the dynasties of China. And then the Republic of China now the People's Republic of China, PRC, and then Taiwan. So look at the history. The four countries, Wei Jin, Nan, Bei, Chao, Northern and Southern Dynasty, Sui, Tang, Song, Yan, Ming, Qing. So, was there a dynasty that stayed forever? No, it's one after another. Some for hundreds of years, some shorter, some longer. Like Zhou lasted for 800 years. So, your bodies, whichever era you live in, like now, whether you live in Taiwan or in China, how long does your dream of life last? How long can you dream your dream? Life is like a dream. Sometimes you don't even live to be 100 years old. Even Grandmaster Lu cannot say that. So that's all just illusion. In the infinite, in the infinity, they are all the elements that transform to become, say, the Taiwan Temple, or to become the numerous disciples of the Buddha School, transform to become Grandmaster Lu. Where do we all come from? From the primordial infinity. To become the elements that combine to become you. Don't think about the great dream of the spring and autumn. And then, not long after, you would be Bardo delivered by Grandmaster. And then how about when Grandmaster's life ends, then I Bardo deliver myself. I will not live to be very long either. I will return to my original place, where the power is eternal, is non-arising. I'm going back. And then when you see what you have done in this life, it's just a dream. It's just like a dream. It is a dream. So that's what Amitabha Buddha said, that all the Dharma of non-arising, there's no mind and no practice, and the space is like a yoga. And the three sages and the Akshobha Buddha said, the Dharma nature is radiant. Today is the birthday of God, of the Jit Emperor. At the Jit Emperor Temple, Chiyo-san told me, she asked, is there anybody by the name Katsu? Sung in Japanese is Katsu, Katsuhiko. And then I said, I am Katsu. Okay, Golden Mother is looking for you. Kneel down. As soon as I kneel down, oh my God, by golly. I had some responses. I saw light. As soon as I closed my eyes, light appeared. And it became Amitabha Buddha, Golden Mother, and Siddhikarma Bodhisattva. And they talked to me. Oh no, I understood. I heard it. I didn't see. Oh, I saw and heard. And what did they want me to do? And Chio-san said, you have to deliver sentient beings and propagate Buddha Dharma. What? How could I? I'm a Christian. I never learned any Buddhism at all. I was in shock, and that night I returned to my room. I was a survey officer at the South Gate Bridge, and there was a survey team 5802. I had my own room in the dormitory, and as I was sleeping, oh no, I was trembling because there was a circle of lights and I flew into it. And oh my God, I went to the realms of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And there were so many Buddhas and Bodhisattvas that said, "Hi, you're back." And I didn't recognize any of them. And someone spoke in my ear, see that. What is that? It's like a trembling white light. And the voice said, that's you. You are Lotus Youth or Padma Kumara. What I said, if what I just said were not truthful, I was just boasting and I was just lying about it. If I had never been to Mahal Twin Lotus Ponds, and if I had not seen my own Padma Kumara, which was just pure white light, then my name would be upside down, would be called Yang Sen Lu. That you can write it any way. Doesn't matter how you ridicule me. But what I said was true. And I did see my own past life, and I saw that bright and amazing light. And you cultivate spiritually in order to go back there. And the rest is nothing. Houses, cars, or diamond watches, rings, all those jewels, they are nothing. And money, what are they? Once you go there, if you want to eat something, just by thinking of it, then it will appear. And you want all the jewels and all the riches, just with one thought, it will appear. You want palaces, it will appear. What else do you want? Whichever you want to go, with one thought, you will be there, any Buddha lands. So why do you want other people's money and houses? You're such a fool. So you cultivate spiritually until you attain the Tao, you attain body, that you're already merging with the utmost, with your yidam, that you're already infinite and eternal. And you're always blissful. What are you scared of? That's the key point. what fame, name, and position you want. Look at the presidents of Korea. Out of 10 Korean presidents, none of them ended up good. So what use is there to be a president? Think about it. And it talk about Om. Om is the trove of wisdom. And R is the body and no self. And Home is the practice of mandala, your own palace. So you practice your own Vajra body. So Guhyasamaja, purify your body, speech and mind to eradicate your greed and animosity, anger, and also foolishness and ignorance. And you would be able to gain the utmost wisdom, the wisdom of the Tathagata. So all fame and benefits, they're all just garbage, rubbish. It's like it doesn't mean in Chinese, Blue Mountain coffee. So by practicing Guhyasamaja, is the mandala of the sturdiness and protection. And then you would be able to gain all wisdom. So today, I talk about the key points of Guhyasamaja. So if you seek the worldly things, it exists. Or if you want the out of worldly things, it also exists. Sakyamuni Buddha once said that Buddhas and Tathagatas have attainments in the samsara. So that's why the Buddha also got married, had children, and then he renunciated and became ordained. So throughout his life, he had lived a mundane life. He got married, had lots of wives, and he had children. And then he became a monk, and he renunciated. And under the Bodhi tree, he gained enlightenment of the wisdom of the Tathagata, and eventually attained the fruition of body. And he attained the Buddhahood of Sakyamuni Buddha. So today, like Sakyamuni Buddha and so many sages that don't necessarily have to let the ordinary people know. So today, if you can be like Amitabha Buddha, that the good, you can talk about everything with good speech. Like Grandmaster can talk about a lot of things because Grandmaster has experienced them. He's been in romantic pursuit, and I had girlfriends in kindergarten, and her name was Lin Yan Yi. And also the girlfriend of my elementary school was called Gao Chunxin. And then the girlfriend of my junior high school. There were 3 sisters. One is Gao Chunzi, Gao Chunqing, and Gao Chunxing. The girlfriend in my high school was called Xi Mingzi. And my girlfriend in high school, Guhyasamaja, and then another one in Hualien, Guan Huiding. Sometimes I have several, and the girlfriend in my civil engineering college, Zhang Bixia, I never stayed single. Always have girlfriends, and my girlfriends now are Yiting, Lei Qian, Li Qi. They're all my girlfriends. The three little girls, are they all here? That's Lei Qian. Where's Yiting? Yiting is there. Li Qi. Li Qi already stood up. She said that Grandmaster is always 18 to her. Did you say that you want to marry me? Yes. She nodded her head. Oh my God. How old are you now? 12. So I have to live to be 86. So I'm 74 now. Another 6 years, I would be 80. Yeah, that's okay. It'll still work. It's just joking, just kidding around. In reality, I have so many it's power that push me forward. So that's the power of love. See, because I love sentient beings, right? That's the power of love. Because you love sentient beings, so then you can be like Amitabha Buddha. That so I have not left behind the mundanity, but I transcend it. Although I am amidst the mundanity, I also transcend it. That I take it very lightly. It's very easy, at ease. Whether I have it or not, it's the same. All the illusory phenomena of me right now, it's merging with the authentic me, so I can stay in mundanity or I can transcend mundanity. So in the future, if you can be like Grandmaster to become a true Guru, that in your spiritual cultivation you can be merging with your yidam, then you would have the boundless power, then you would be a Guru then. Then you would know Guhyasamaja. Guhyasamaja's appearance today, accompanied by the 5 Herukas, and also Kalachakra that accompanied him. All the Herukas appeared in front of me, and you would be able to see them. You would be able to hear them. that they were teaching their pith instructions, that the pith instructions of the 5 Herukas are similar, and there's slight differences in the Dharma practice, in the Tantric practice, but actually they are the same. So what is downfalls and what is the signs of death or omens of death, like spoken in Lamde? First, that normally you can meditate and enter into samadhi, but all of a sudden you cannot enter into samadhi anymore. That's sign of death. Normally, the breath that you exhale is very nice and you're already in union with your yidam. But when your breath is very foul, then it becomes foul, then that's sign of death. And if your skin is white and soft, and then all of a sudden it became dark, that's sign of death. And normally you can be in concentration and meditate, and you focus in whatever you're doing, and all of a sudden you became chaotic, became and you keep thinking about all the nitty-gritty of things, and that's sign of death. And you smell the foul smell of your own body, that's sign of death. These were the signs of death as written in Lamde, many of them. And all of a sudden, normally you were very patient and amiable, and all of a sudden you became very short-tempered and you're angry at anything. That's sign of death. So, as spiritual cultivator, please remember that you have to use the enticing the emptiness to extend your life practice, and you have to purify your body, speech and mind, and also the Guhyasamaja, which is the secret assembly of the wisdom of the Buddhas of the past, present and future. You know Grandmaster's heart. If you can understand Grandmaster's heart, then you are in spiritual union with Grandmaster. If you don't understand Grandmaster's heart, then you're still at the kindergarten of True Buddha School. You're still in kindergarten. So today, when I say all this, I have meanings behind it. Ponder upon it. Think carefully. Are you really in spiritual union with your root guru, with your yidam, in the Vajraheruka? Do you have any fruition in your inner tantric practice, in your highest yoga tantra practice, that can attain Buddhahood directly? Because the 5 Heruka practices are all the highest yoga tantra. Can you attain Buddhahood? Do you comprehend the wisdom of the Tathagatas? Do you still want to be a president?
我们中国宗是没有总统。
We have no presidents in Tripta School.
什么比较重要？
What is more important?
是你的心灵提升比较重要。
It is more
最重要，
important
最重要。
to live your
是你心灵
spiritual
提升比较
self.
重要。
That's the most
其他都不
important.
重要。
The rest is unimportant. The rest is not important.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Om Mani Padme Hum.